Good morning. This is Jason Dean coming live at you from, once again, coming at you again from Film Fanatic headquarters. So, yeah, I want to thank everybody again for their support. It's been great. We're almost at 200 subscribers, so just a couple more to go. So, it's pretty exciting. It's been a real nice, steady climb, and I noticed since I've been putting more videos, and I moved kind of the way I was doing it, or I changed up how I was doing these videos from doing it, well, originally with the Facebook live videos when I first started doing video stuff about a year and a half ago, over a year ago, which is hard to believe. I was doing it once a month, and then gradually I started increasing it a little bit. And then since the YouTube thing emerged, and I've been trying to focus more on building the whole YouTube universe. I was doing it once or twice a week, and then as my schedule kind of opened up and I had more time to do it and kind of changed the way I've been doing the videos. Typically in the past I was always doing videos like on weekends, like on Saturdays, and but I don't know, I kind of got in this regular habit of doing them every morning, and so I've been doing them. I've been doing a video every day. I try to do one every day. I have just been digging into movies more and more. I've been buying more. This year I bought a lot more movies than I have in the past. And I've been just exploring more and more films and discovering more and more filmmakers. Lots of films I have never seen before. So it's been really awesome on my end as far as being just a fan and a spectator of all of these great films. And I noticed since I've been just, uploading lots of content, the traffic's been really increasing. So uh, I really thank everyone for their support. So it's been really fun, and it's kind of like I don't know, it's all about the movies at the end of the day. But I also feel like it's I don't know, it's like therapy every day, every morning. Music movie therapy. It's a good time. So looking forward, I'm gonna be doing some more interview shows. I'm in the midst now setting up some more interviews. That's my favorite part of the show is doing the interview segments. The last one I did was with Spencer Roulard from Method of Madness. Really super cool dude. We've done a couple of shows together, both of our bands, Quantum and Method for Madness. And we have another show coming up in a couple of weeks at the Gypsy Rose Lounge, or Gypsy Rose Tavern. It's located in Camden, Maine. It's part of the Cedar Crest Inn. The Cedar Crest Inn is a like a big inn or hotel motel that's been in Maine for I don't know, for forever. Really, it's been ever since I can remember. That's always been a venue, or I should say, it's always been a hotel. But there was a really amazing saxophone player who passed away, unfortunately, about a year ago. Just an amazing guy, an amazing musician, Wayne Delano. I I remember it was probably about 10 or 11 years ago. Well, even before that, I used to go to. I had heard that there was music there, and I remember I used to go to the Cedar Crest. There was a group of these older guys that were jazz musicians, and they would play. Bill Hahn was the piano player, and he was the owner of the Cedar Crest at the time. He was the piano player, and he basically put together this little jazz group, and they were playing every week. And I used to, and this was a long, long time ago, and I started going there, and I would, hang out, have a couple of drinks, or have some food, and just listen to them. And at the time, I was still like, kind of getting acclimated with the local music scene here. I was still, kind of checking out new things, realizing there was, was kind of more than meets the eye as far as how many musicians there were and how many, kind of for a small town, for a small area, how many opportunities there were for musicians. So I was like, went through this process before. I was just checking out lots of different places, and it's something I still do even now. I kind of almost do it even more now than ever. But I would go there, and then eventually I met started getting to know those guys, and I eventually started sitting in. I started playing drums with them, and then over a period of few months, I got asked to play pretty regularly there, and they were doing music on Friday nights, and there were like a couple of sets of music, like a lot of old jazz standards from like the Real Book, and I started sitting in with them, and then it became like a pretty regular thing, and it was a lot of fun because I was learning a lot, and I was working, as far as on my own time for practicing. I was working on a lot of like straight ahead jazz stuff, and I was working on a lot of those traditional tunes from like the 40s and 50s. So it was a cool thing to be able to like, I was practicing this stuff, but then I was also listening to it, but then I could play with this kind of music with these guys and gain some experience. And those guys are really cool and very, they were, some of those guys were very experienced and they've been doing it for a while. So it was a really cool thing for me at a young age to be able to do that. And then over a couple of years went by. I kind of went into a different area, and I didn't go there as much. And there was this really amazing sax player who started showing up there, Wayne Delano, and he was from Texas, world class player. And I started going there again after hearing about him, and he would just blow the roof off the place. Just phenomenal player. And then I got to know him over a period of time, and then I started to sit in with him and with the band. It was pretty much the same band plus Wayne. And I started sitting in with him more and more, and then we became friends. And then he asked me about playing some gigs. Wayne had just moved to the area. He had asked me about, maybe playing a couple of gigs here and there. So I jumped at the chance, and then I started playing a few occasional like jazz gigs with him at like various restaurants or little concerts and things like that. And as I got to know him, I realized his whole background. I mean, he was a world class jazz player. He played with some really amazing giants in the jazz world. So I looked at it as a really great opportunity to play with somebody of that caliber. And then eventually I started playing with him pretty regularly, for about 3 years or so. But amazing person, amazing guy. And again, this was like, you know, the starting point of me going there was years ago. So the Cedar Crest has, always had music, and now there's a tavern inside that's just reopened. They've redid the kind of the way it's all set up inside. The food is really great, and they've been doing music all the time there, so it's been really awesome. And they're booking, they still have some jazz stuff there, but they've been booking, folk and rock, and they have an open mic there now, and it's a very cool place. And so we have a quantum show there on the 28th of this month with Spencer Roulard's band or group Method for Madness, and we're trying to bill it as more of a dance party. It always comes up every now and then that people are craving something to where people can go out dancing. It seems like it's unfortunately something that doesn't happen that much, especially around electronic music. So we're trying to do that. We did a big show with that same kind of thing at Ada's, and it was a really big success, and it was a lot of fun. And we're trying to do some more things like that. So this is kind of that same idea, a little bit more scaled down. It's just going to be two of us. So, but we're trying to build it as a dance party, and it's going to start around 9 o'clock. So if you're around, please come by. It should be a really great time. Spencer is an amazing talent, and the main thing that we do, both of our bands, and as well, like I've said, I come in contact with like a whole pool of other electronic musicians and artists in the area, which has been really awesome and really inspiring. And the shows that we're trying to do and moving and with ideas that I have with moving forward is to try to do shows, you know, obviously with Quantum, but then I want to try to bring in other musicians and other artists since there's like this really great pool of talent that I've just recently kind of come into. So I'm trying to do that. We had started with our CD release party. We had my friend Ronnie play, or Enor. We did that in June, and that was a really super fun event. And we've done a show with my friend Halsey, who's an amazing bass player and musician as well. He did that show with us at Ada's along with Spencer. We just did a show this past week with my friend Tom Luther and Sphere Music, another tremendous local talent. So it's been really awesome. So moving forward, I'm trying to do shows of where we're gonna, I'm gonna try to bring in these other acts, and also the main focus being on all original music. It's not really DJing. We're not really playing other people's music, nor are the other artists. They're all focused on doing original material, which is what I really want to. I want to make that the kind of the main thing. You might like it, you might not like it. It's a little bit on the fringe side. I think some of the music is very much in the dance world, so people could dance to it. It's music that a lot of people might not have ever heard before. But with all of these guys, there's all kinds of different styles. We have the modular synth stuff. We have the hip hop kind of influence stuff, the more ambient stuff, the house music aspects. So there's a lot of variety. So moving forward, that's what is going to be the focus. So that would be that's kind of the priority. So come by and check it out. It should be a fun show. It's a free show, and it's a Gypsy Rose Tavern's a super cool place, great food. So yeah. So today's show is going to be about a movie that I just saw, and it was a movie that I just watched it the other night, and I rented it over the weekend. I went to Opera House Video, the beloved video store here in Maine and in Belfast. That's I believe it to be true that it is the last place that you can go and actually rent movies at. I don't know of any other place in the state, for that matter, in the state of Maine, of where there's a functional video store that you can go into and physically rent movies. It's crazy. Everything else is streaming or whatever. So I really love that spot. I really love Opera House Video. I've always been a member to that place for a long time. I'm amazed that they're still going. I don't sometimes I don't know how they do it, but they sometimes do, and they have a good local following. That place has been around for years and years and years. And I think that's a big part of it, is that we have a really cool community. So for the most part, when people are, a part of something, they're invested, and there's like kind of a scene or an unspoken scene. So I think that's what sustains Opera House Video through these crazy times with, video shops becoming dinosaurs, and, lots of people not wanting to leave their house and wanting to have the comforts of their home. But they still remain a thing, and a force, and something that is, I guess, successful. So, but they've been recently like kind of expanding their movie selection, and recently they just got this movie in, which is totally up my alley, called Invasion of the Bee Girls, and it's a 1973 sci-fi horror exploitation movie. And I saw on the Opera House Video Facebook page, they're usually really good about posting new movies and new things that are coming out all the time. So a lot of the times I don't go there as often, just because I've been buying a lot more films on my own. So usually what I do is, like, I typically will buy a big batch of movies, obviously watch them, and then I'll do shows on them like I do on this channel. 99% of the videos that I put up on this YouTube channel are all from my personal collection. Occasionally, I'll do videos. Well, I do reviews of new movies that I've seen, and obviously I don't own them yet. And I obviously do reviews of films I've seen in the theater. And then I also do movies that I've seen through Opera House Video. And again, I don't go there as often, and it's mainly because I've been buying more movies on my own. I've been building my collection, kind of running out of space. It's a little bit ridiculous. and probably spending a little too much money, but it's hey, it's for a good thing, good cause, I guess. And so I've been, buying more movies lately. And what I end up doing is I buy a batch of movies and then watch them, obviously. And then I've been doing lots of shows around the movies I've been buying, with this channel and other things. But I tend to, especially if I'm into the movies and I've lucked out, I've gotten a lot of movies recently that I have never seen before. I've been diving more into that kind of thing. And I've been really loving that. And it's been a real cool adventure. And what I tend to do after I buy a batch of movies is I'll sit with it for a while. And I'm one to watch movies, certain movies over and over again or check them out. I don't usually watch a movie once. Like if I like it or if I fall in love with the film, I'm not gonna like watch it and just kind of store it away. I'll probably watch it numerous times. So that's usually what I do as I've been, you know, pretty busy with watching all those films and then watching them again and checking out various things around them. And then I go out and buy another batch of films and do the same thing. And I've lucked out, with what I said. I've been buying mostly films that I haven't seen before. I've been taking a little bit more of a chance, and I've lucked out. It's been amazing. So that's the reason I don't go to Opera House as much, but I go, a couple times a month. I used to go every week, but I go, a couple times a month or every couple of months. And then usually when I go to Opera House Video, I typically will buy or I will typically rent all like the new releases that come out. So this is a new release that they just put out. It's an older movie, and it's a it's a totally crazy movie. Invasion of the Bee Girls, and it came out in 1973. It's a total sci-fi horror exploitation movie, and I saw this posted on their Facebook page, and I was just like, yes, this looks awesome. And again, this is the whole world. This whole exploitation world is the world that I've been, where my head has been, and where it continues to be as far as checking out and exploring, this whole like murky world of cinema. And I've been just loving it. And this movie was directed by Dennis Sanders. The music was by Charles Bernstein, and it stars Anita Ford, William Smith, the great William Smith, a really great character actor. I've seen him in tons and tons of movies. Anna Aries, Victoria Vetri, Katie Saylor, Beverly Powers, and Sid Kaiser. And this movie is just totally bonkers. It's pretty sleazy. And it's basically centered around these women who are more or less aliens, but they have these powers of bees, and they basically use sex and seduction to kill all of these men in this like small town that they're taking over. And it's super bonkers. It's super crazy, and I was just blown away by that this movie came out in '73. It's awesome. I would I would love to see this film on Blu-ray or DVD because the transfer of this film, at least the copy that they got at Opera House Video, which is on DVD, is is awful. It really is. It's again, it's a thing of where all the new Blu-rays I've been buying when I go to Blue Moose, my home away from home, I've been buying all kinds of exploitation movies. And that's my focus when I go there. All of those movies are just the quality is just immaculate because they're all transferred from the original negative of the film to Blu-ray or 4K. I don't own a 4K system. I don't know if I will. I mean, it's just an extra expense. I'm pretty happy with getting 4K is pretty amazing. It probably will eventually happen, but right now I'm pretty happy with getting really good quality Blu-ray. That's really what I buy. You have to buy in order for me to start renting or for me to start buying. They don't rent any 4Ks at Opera House, but in order for me to start watching 4K, I'd have to buy a new TV just for that. Kind of not interested in that, and then also having to buy additional copies of the movies I already own, which are going to be more expensive. I know the quality is ridiculous and amazing, but I'm really happy with the Blu-ray qualities. We'll see what happens. Maybe eventually when prices go down a little bit, because the prices in general and just living these days is completely insane and ridiculous. So an added expense, having to tack on added expenses for things like that is not doable. So, but the thing about with all these great grindhouse movies I've been buying on Blu-ray is the quality is just amazing, and the picture, the sight, and the sound is just amazing. They're all remastered. There's all this love and care put into them. So, Invasion of the Bee Girls was, it's basically a really crappy quality taken from probably VHS or something, and just burned to DVD. It's so the quality's awful. But and I was thinking when I was watching it, I was totally digging it. It's a totally badass movie. But while I was watching it, because I've been kind of spoiling myself with buying all of these classic exploitation movies on Blu-ray, the quality is just ridiculous and amazing. And I just kept thinking, wow, I would have loved to have seen this on Blu-ray or see a really high quality version of it, because it's the quality itself is pretty awful. It basically looks like a VHS tape that was burnt to digital, and it's pretty bad. It's almost, I mean, the movie is so great, and I love it, and I want to support Opera House Video, but from from a technical side from the technical side of things, it's kind of unwatchable, but it's better than watching it probably online or watching it on. I'm sure there's like a Blu-ray. I'm sure one of the companies out there, like Severin or Blue Underground or what have you, there's probably a beautiful packaged version of this film that's out there. But I never heard of this film before, and it's totally bonkers. It's totally crazy. It's really sleazy. It's just great. I was really impressed, and to think that this came out in '73 is just so awesome to me. And basically, the whole film, like I said, the general synopsis is a powerful cosmic force is turning Earth women into queen bees who will kill men by wearing them out sexually. And that's exactly what happens in this film. it's totally, it's it's very sleazy. It's highly sexualized. The sexual nature of the film and the sci-fi element to this film is super fun. The music is really great too. It's a real great slice of '70s sleaze. And I thought it was awesome that Opera House Video decided to, add this to their collection. They have a pretty decent collection when it comes to a lot of these kinds of films. You have to kind of, spend a little bit of time going through the aisles to find them, but they actually have a pretty good selection. I'm probably the only person there that rents them, but hey, that's how I it was through Opera House Video. That's how I discovered Herschel Gordon Lewis. So I'll always be to a degree indebted to Opera House for that, because he's grown to be one of my favorite directors and one of my favorite exploitation directors. I now own all of his movies, and that was due to seeing one of his films at Opera House Video. They have these really cool little packages or little box sets at Opera House Video. They have about 3 or 4 of them, and they have a few that are pure, like all focused on pure grindhouse cinema, and they're really great. They have some really bonkers like Asian packages, a lot of like Japanese monster movies. And then they have another package of where it's all like these bizarro American exploitation movies. Really great, just awesome. But that's how I discovered, and they're really cheap. They're like, I don't know, $2, and you get like 10 movies. 7 to 10 movies. But when I rented one of those packages, that's how I discovered Herschel Gordon Lewis. So I think they should totally keep going. I think Opera House Video and Dennis Howard, the owner, they should keep going and increase their exploitation selection, because I think it's great. I think there's a lot of people out there that know of this style of cinema, but might not have ever really checked it out. But it's a world of fun, and you talk about you know the main thing of film. There's a lot of serious films, a lot of films about very serious matters and subject matter, or even social issues that are going on. But really, art, music, film, whatever it is, it's really about having a good healthy dose, or having a good healthy experience around that involves escapism, pure unadulterated escapism, and taking your mind out of the mundane, or taking your if you've had a bad day or a rough day or a really busy day, there's nothing like immersing yourself in a book, or throwing out an album, or throwing in a good movie, and it might change your mood, or it just takes you away, or decompresses you from that particular day, and you just really unwind, in a real, like, you can really just let your brain unwind and escape for those few hours. And I think all of these great classic grindhouse movies are kind of the epitome of that. They're super fun. And so I think if people decided to, not that they have to take the film seriously, but maybe to a degree, but decided to actually check out a lot of these wacky movies, they're just super fun. And so I think people the more I think people would be surprised by how much they like a lot of these films, and that they love a lot of these films, and that they can might grow into becoming kind of like a full on fan, like I've become, or a film fanatic around this particular genre, because it's like kind of the epitome of why we watch movies, to really escape, and to go on that amusement ride for those few hours, and to try to forget about our day, or forget whatever is going on in our lives that might be not so great, or not a lot of fun. So yeah, so please go out there, support Opera House Video. They're an amazing place. They do, uh, you know, they're keeping the flag standing for lots of great films, and I think the most important way to see films, and the whole having that real interaction with people, instead of just being behind your phone or behind your laptop. So yeah, Invasion of the Bee Girls. I highly recommend this movie. It's totally wacky, super fun, great soundtrack, pretty sleazy, pretty bizarre. It's a great sci-fi movie. Some good kills in this film too, and it's so 70s. It came out in '73, and the music is just awesome. I love this movie. I'm gonna look for this movie in my next travel, to when I eventually go back up to Blue Moose. This will be one movie I'm gonna keep my eye out for, to maybe buy on Blu-ray. So yeah. So this is Jason Dean. Thanks again for all of your support. If you like these crazy videos I do, please like and subscribe to them. And thanks again. Really appreciate it. Have a great day. Peace.